Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of the 12th Man podcast. I'm your host, Praddy, and today we're going to talk about the transfer business of one of the biggest clubs in England, Arsenal. So I've got with me Srivastav. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Srivastav, and I've been an Arsenal fan for all my life. It's quite difficult nowadays, but still going on. So yeah,
So,
first thing I'd like to.
yeah, let's start off with the biggest transfer that has brought in, which is Unai Emery, right?
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the Wenger era is finally at an end. Hopefully, the fans' suffering is over. There's no more Wenger out banners that will appear. So, okay, the first question I have is, what do you think of Unai Emery? Was he your preferred choice as manager?
No, my preferred choice was Allegri.
Okay. Yeah.
I really thought he would be the best manager that we could get, but then he decided to stay at Juventus, and who can blame him? He's one of the best clubs of the world, and he's he can play with Ronaldo right now, and really can't compete with all that. So, but then Unai Emery was an okay choice. I wouldn't. I'm not unhappy, but at the same time, he's not my number one pick. He was an overall it was a good choice, I believe, because he has a winning pedigree. He's won the Europa League 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
You can't you can't say that's a small feat. It's a pretty good record, and right now we are in the Europa League, and I think that's the main reason Arsenal have decided to go for him,
Mm-hmm.
because coming in the top four is a priority, but you can't say, given how close the top six teams are. Actually, Man City is too high, but then
Yeah.
the other five are pretty close here and there. So I think Europa League is where we'll focus this season, and that's one of the main reasons we've gone for Emery.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I mean, I guess Allegri would have been your first choice before Unai Emery. But now coming to the famous reported 50 million budget that Arsenal had, uh, well, to be fair, Arsenal did make full use of it. I mean,
Yeah,
they did sign a lot of good players, important players for key positions. So what do you think of it? I mean,
I think given the restrictions by the board, Arsenal did really well.
hmm,
I think I'll probably give it like a solid 8 on 10, considering with the limited budget and resources. And I think Ivan Gazidis did a good job of creating a team so that you could get the maximum out of whatever we have. I think Sven did a good job. I agree. He did get a few players which he already signed for Dortmund,
yeah.
but still, it's a good thing, because with the limited amount of money, you need all the help you can to get players for your own team.
Hmm.
So I don't blame him for doing that. Kind of have to blame the board, because if he did get money, probably would have Dembele by now.
But
So
what's up with the 15 million? I mean, did they not trust Emery that much, or was it because it's just Kroenke's way of doing business?
this is Kroenke's way of doing business. Kroenke has always believed that the club should finance itself. He's not going to give any money, so we can only spend the money we receive.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the main reasons we accepted that shady deal from Rwanda. It's coming directly from the president. I mean, like,
Wow.
we're gonna take all the money we can.
Yeah, I guess.
So can't blame Emery. I mean, the thing is, what I think is Emery is more comfortable this way,
Hmm.
because even at Sevilla he was under Monchi,
Right.
who did all the transfer deals, and all Emery did was work with the players he already has. I think this is the way he prefers working. Like, he doesn't want to be involved in all these contract negotiations and transfer business. I think all he likes is trying to manage a football team and trying to get results. So I think in one way this is a good match.
Hmm.
So I like it, and I think, yeah, given the 50 to 70 million budget we had, I think he spent around 70 to 80 million. I don't think it was 50.
Yeah, the 50 was
I
just a
think,
rumor, but you already you signed Bernd Leno for 20 million, and then you
yeah,
had
and Torreira for
Socrates,
30.
yeah, and Socrates
So
for 20, close to 20
15.
again. Yeah, 15.
Yeah, so I think it was close to. I think it was like 70 to 80 million.
Yeah.
So I think we did use the entire budget and try to cover up all the areas. Although I would like another winger, a natural winger,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are no cheap wingers, so can't help it.
So
Leon Bailey wants 50 million. I mean, you can't really get a cheap winger, so
that's true. I mean, with the inflated market also that is there right now, it's not. I mean, 50 is the new 30 or 20, right? Like
left backs are going for 40 million. Goalkeepers are going for 50 million.
70
Can't
right
really
now.
get a winger.
I mean,
Can't
70.
really get a
Yeah.
winger for cheap.
Well, you were linked with Gelson Martin for free when he left Sporting, so that probably could have worked out. But yeah,
Yeah, but then he did choose Atletico over us,
that's true.
and the Atletico is a bigger team, so
Yeah, and
can't
in the
complain again.
Champions League football, everything, right?
Yep, yep.
So, out of the signings that Arsenal have done or signed, out of all the players that they've signed, who do you think was their best signing or your
I
best
think
signing?
Lucas Torreira was the best signing.
Yeah.
And I'll admit I've not seen much of him in the Italian league,
Mm-hmm.
but I did watch the World Cup, and I think he's exactly the player we need. The
Okay.
one to break up plays. His tackling is spot on,
Right.
and he works like just in front of the defensive pair.
Mm-hmm.
Like he sits right in front of them to and prevents the ball reaching the defenders.
Yeah.
So that's his main strength, and I think we lack a player like that. I know some people say we have Shaka and all, but I don't think Shaka's strength is that. I think Shaka is a more forward playing player,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Torreira's main strength is to cut out the forward runs and the forward passes. And he's the type of player we needed for a very long time. And like I think probably like 2-3 years now we didn't have a proper central defensive midfielder.
Right.
It all started when we started playing Arteta as a central defensive midfielder. And since then we've just not replaced him.
Yeah. Who was the last central defensive midfielder that you actually had?
We had Coquelin. He was really good in the beginning,
Yeah.
but then injuries and he started getting out of form,
It's
started
true.
picking up needless cards, and he wasn't consistent. And then we had to replace him, but we didn't have anyone else.
Yeah.
So it was a mess. And I think that's the main thing which I'm happy about, which Arsenal have sorted. And obviously, the second is the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Burn
I'm
Leno.
happy with Bern Leno. I'm happy that we got him for a
I mean,
pretty good
20 million
price.
is nothing. As a Liverpool fan, I was a little pissed off that we didn't go for Burn Leno. First, given that Klopp is German, so you'd want a German keeper. And considering that we weren't even linked with any goalkeeper. I mean, we were linked with the likes of Oblak and Allison, right? At that point of time. And I was like,
Uh,
when are we going to start paying 50 million, 60 million for a goalkeeper? Yeah, that had never been
But I
heard
think
of.
that's what Klopp wanted. I think Klopp was willing to stick with Carriers unless he got a like the best keeper in the world or something.
Yeah. And
And Liverpool did get that.
yeah, it was between Oblak and Allison, and when we actually got Allison, and then Klopp started talking about Oblak, I actually was thinking, I was like, "Are you serious? You actually were serious about Oblak and Allison," which shows so much of ambition that we were willing to pay that much, and I was so
Yeah,
happy at that point. I was like, "You didn't get Oblak, but the fact that you were okay to go for Oblak, the only reason being, I mean, 80 million release clause, who's gonna pay? No one's gonna
yeah,
pay that." But I was really happy with that. But when Arsenal signed Leno, and they signed Leno way before we signed Allison, I was a little pissed off
yeah,
because goalkeepers were our priority, not Arsenal's. Because you had Czech, you had Ospina, who were two good keepers, right? I mean, not the
yeah.
best,
I
but
mean, the thing is, both of them are okay. They're not. I don't think they should be the number one goalkeeper for any top six team because they both.
yeah,
Ospina is a very good shot stopper,
yeah,
but he's very weak in the crosses because he's short
mm,
and he's not strong. And Czech is very poor at penalties and one-on-one situations. He's slowed down because of his age.
yep,
You could see a lot of he's slipped in the near corner between his legs. So his one-on-one situations have slowed down because of his age. But at the same time, he's very good at crosses. He's a very strong keeper because
mm,
of his size. He's 6'5" or something. So both of them have flaws for different reasons. So I don't think they're good enough to be a number one keeper for any of the top six sides.
mm-hmm,
So we really did need a keeper, and we needed a young one too because we signed
Yeah,
Czech as a number one when he was already 33.
that's true.
So I don't see going back to buying a keeper that's already on declining.
Yeah.
I think we needed a young keeper, and I think the choice was between Leno and Sergio Rico.
Hmm.
Sergio Rico was the keeper Emery worked with in Sevilla,
Right.
and Leno. I think Leno was the one which would. I think when the moment Leno came out, I knew we'd get him because Mislintat is from the Bundesliga,
And
and he
plus
has
a
connections there.
small fee as well, right? Only
Yeah,
20
the
million.
small fee
So,
also, and we moved very early, so that was a big advantage.
hmm,
So Leno, but the thing is, I've read a lot of reports on Leno saying that he's a fantastic shot blocker, but then he has a mistake in him. He's prone to making mistakes. So I
that
really
is
hope
true.
that's not true. But then there are videos even on YouTube. He's made quite a few blunders.
Okay.
But despite that, he has a pretty good reputation as a young
He
goalkeeper. So
does,
let's
right.
just see how it is.
Yeah, he does. I think the unfortunate thing is that Germany have too many good goalkeepers for him not to
Yeah.
be left out of the squad. Uh, but yeah, only time will tell whether that. I mean, if he still continues his blunders at Arsenal or he actually proves himself. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good choice. Anyone else? I think they signed that David Luiz lookalike in defensive.
Yeah, Guendouzi, Matteo
Yeah,
Guendouzi.
yeah, the,
I've been impressed by him. I've
yeah.
seen a few clips of him, and he seems very confident.
Hmm.
That's what I like about him. He has good confidence. He's fine dribbling with the ball and passing. So I think in the next couple of years he could be a star of the
Yeah,
Premier
he's
League.
certainly ones to watch out for in the future.
Yep.
So I think yeah, that about wraps up Arsenal's transfer window. So in a realistic setting, where would you see Arsenal finishing this season?
I think either fourth or fifth.
Fourth or fifth? Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
I'm also not
Yeah.
happy with the way Arsenal bought a central defender
Ah,
with
Socrates.
Socrates.
Yeah.
I wanted a much better player, a bigger star, but then no funds, so
Yeah.
have to do with what we can. So yeah,
Yeah. I think this is the first time where Arsenal have actually signed a centre back and not a forward, right?
I mean we did sign Mustafi, but then he's also error prone.
That's
We
true.
signed him for 35 million. That was a big fee back then
Yeah.
for a defender. So yeah,
Yeah. All right, so that's about it for Arsenal and the transfer talk for Arsenal and the Premier League. We'll bring to you the video on deadline day as well as the preview for the Premier League shortly. So thanks for tuning in once again, and we hope to see you soon. And thanks Srivasa for being a part of the transfer
yeah. Thank
podcast.
you.
All right, see you. Bye bye.